Arkansas is blessed with so many wonderful state parks. Today we'll visit Woolly Hollow, just north of Greenbrier. It's got history, it's got great hiking and biking trails, and today it will also have some of Leigh's amazing cooking, with a tip for those of you looking to use cast iron on a campout. That and a look at the newest fishing products from this year's National Fishing Convention is all on this episode of Arkansas's Great Outdoors. There are over 50 amazing state parks, and we could spend a few years visiting and studying all of them, and we'll do just that. Today, however, we'll visit Woolly Hollow State Park, just north of Conway and Greenbrier, just off of Highway 65. It's a great place to enjoy a peaceful palace of the outdoors. When our family first visited Woolly Hollow State Park, we realized we'd found a true gem. Many memories, camping, fishing, hiking, and biking for Leigh and I and our children. My then 8-year-old son was determined to ride the mountain biking trail on a single-speed Huffy bike wearing duck boots. He did it, and he was proud. A little later in the show, you'll get a cooking tip from Leigh with one of our favorite campsite dinners. But we certainly weren't the first family here. It's named Woolly Hollow for a reason.
So the Woolleys moved here from Tennessee in the 1850s. They left Tennessee in 1848, and it took them 2 years to get here, so they didn't arrive here until 1850. They made the trip in 2 ox-drawn covered wagons with 9 of their 11 children. And then when they got here, William Wooley, which was the head of the Wooley family, started to build his homestead, and that was in those first 2 years is when they had their final 2 children to bring their total up to 11. So when I do my cabin tours, I have people imagine living in something similar to this size with 11 children and comparing it to 4 children. I'm the youngest of 4, so I can imagine living in something like this with my 3 older siblings, and so I kind of have people imagine living in something this size with a lot of kids versus just a few kids.
This is a story of the pioneering American spirit. The nation was encouraging its people to move west. There was a gold rush going on far west, but the Woolleys stopped here and earned everything they received the hard way.
Leaving everything you knew behind to come to a place you had never been before or seen before. Like I said, the lake wasn't here, so there wasn't like a big source of water. They had to rely on the streams, and our lake is rain-fed, so they would have had to have relied on the rain and things like that for water. And then William had to clear the land, to make sure they had a place to build their homestead. And Greenbrier didn't come along until later, officially as a town. So they would have had those, hardships of, not having a really big town nearby, and then also having to kind of just fend for themselves for a while until they got everything kind of up and running for their homestead.
Our state parks are filled with stories and histories just like these, and our park interpreters are a treasure. If you're looking for a great career in a state with an endless supply of outdoors, look no further than our state parks. Woolly Hollow's park interpreter, Natalie Ware, loves to share how she pursued this profession.
I started college as a nursing major and hated it. I hated the classes, and I heard about this line of work from a friend, and so I looked into it. And this is the kind of stuff I did growing up anyway. My family was very outdoorsy. We camped still all the time together. Just being outside is something that my family is just, really fond of. And so when I heard about being able to, do this kind of thing as a living, I was like, well, that sounds fantastic. It is the best thing. I think I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I have been with the parks for 2 years, and every park is different, but being able to share what I do and share just how much I love it with people has been the same for the last 2 years consistently. People come, and I don't think I've met the same people twice in the last 2 years, and that's part of the thing I love the most is I meet all kinds of people, and they are all just as eager to learn and to have fun in the outdoors, and that's part of what makes my job so fun.
Thank you, Miss Ware. We enjoyed the historical perspective from one of our many great state parks. Anytime you spend time in the outdoors, it's always good to think safety. And that's what our friends at the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas give to us every week.
Hey guys, John Burton with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. Just want to take a minute to talk about safety when you're out fishing this season. It's always important to remember that hooks are going to be sharp, and that's great for catching a big one, but can also be bad if it lands in a person. Be sure to look behind you and beside you when you're casting, and try to use an overhead cast whenever you're fishing with others. Also want to be careful when you're putting bait on your hooks, but even more so when you're taking the hooks out of a fish's mouth. You can use specialized fishing pliers or just needle nose pliers to help assist in removing the hook from a fish's mouth. That'll keep your fingers clear of the hook, but also make it easier on the fish. In addition to casting and making sure you're handling your hooks safely, it's also a great idea to have on some eye protection. So those sunglasses can do double duty by protecting you from the sun and from hooks.
When Arkansas's Great Outdoors returns, we will provide a cooking segment with Leigh, specifically for those of you wondering how to use cast iron while camping. Arkansas's Great Outdoors is brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers, by Visit Hot Springs, America's first resort, by the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, by Vexus Boats, and by Certified Arkansas Bait Fish, the safe bait.
You'll find us at the end of a lot of long country roads, covering over 60% of the great state of Arkansas. Our 17 electric distribution cooperatives are working day and night to provide reliable, affordable power to over 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses, just like yours. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, your local energy partners.
Raising our children in Arkansas, camping was one of our favorite activities. One of the best parts of camping is eating outside. I'd like to share with you our favorite family meal. We're here at beautiful Woolly Hollow State Park in central Arkansas, and we are going to grill some salmon and make some Dutch oven sweet potatoes. If you have never cooked with a Dutch oven before, this is the segment for you. I want to tell you everything that I wish I had known when I started. You want to have a really great pair of leather gloves to protect your hands. You need some long metal tongs to move the coals. It's very specific on how many coals you use with a Dutch oven. You want to know that and be able to move them. This is called a chimney. You can tell it's very worn, and this is how you light your coals. This is our Dutch oven. This is a 10-inch, which was perfect for our family of 6. Here you have a lid holder and a lid lifter. I did some prep work at home to make it easier and highly advise this for when you go camping with your family. We marinated the salmon ahead of time so that it would stay moist while we grill it. I also pre-cut the sweet potatoes. Usually I cut them on site, but they're pre-cut. And then this is the most fun thing and helpful thing for me. Just mix your seasoning packets before you come, right? So then you don't have to worry about that. For our grill, we brought one from home. We're just gonna cook a couple of fillets, so we don't need a big one. This is nice to have in case you go somewhere where they don't have a grill available for you. This is a nifty little contraption, and it controls where your heat source is. Obviously, coals are your heat source. They go inside this, and then you can adjust the height using that clamp. Something that's really nice about a Dutch oven that helped me understand how it functions, it is a self-contained oven. Anything you can cook in your oven or is in a casserole form, you know, or something you would just put in a dish and put in the oven. This is your dish and your oven at the same time. That concept helped me translate recipes, and that's what we're gonna do, is a recipe I translated from my home kitchen to the Dutch oven. So cooking with the Dutch oven, it's not rocket science, but it is science. And there's a guide of the temperatures that you need to reach from your home recipe and how many coals you need to reach that temperature. So with a Dutch oven like this recipe called for 400 degrees for the temperature. That means 17 coals on top and 8 on the bottom. So we're just gonna stick these underneath. The first time I did this, I felt like it was when I was learning Spanish. You know, they tell you it's gonna work, but you don't quite believe it. So like when you're in a foreign country and they tell you baño means bathroom, but you're not sure if you make that sound that the other people will understand the word you're saying. So you have to try it a few times. And it's kind of amazing and fun when they do. That's how this was for me. You don't hear the same sounds you hear in a normal a kitchen oven, an electric oven. You don't hear the hum of the oven. You don't hear much of anything. You just see these coals and then they're stuck on this metal thing. And so you're trusting that they didn't lie to you, that this will actually heat it. The truth is, Dutch ovens are incredible at heat transfer. They're incredible conduits of the heat. They cook very evenly. And the taste is out of this world. I think it tastes much better. Food cooked in a Dutch oven tastes much better than it does in a glass casserole dish, in an electric oven. It's just not the same. I'm keeping some extra coals handy because sometimes these burn out and you want to replace them if that happens. We're ready to put our sweet potatoes in. I'm gonna use my lid lifter. Very carefully set that over here. I hear some sizzle, so that's good. And then this is a mixture of mustard and a little bit of cayenne pepper and ground ginger and salt. And we'll put that recipe on our social media for you. I'm gonna stir that around. Oh, that sizzle. That's what I'm talking about. It's like learning a new language. Did it really heat? It did. So we'll put that lid back on and let these babies cook. All right. A little later, we get to taste the final product. It is worth the wait. Next, Mallory Lindsay of Bad Boy Mowers gives us our weekly hiking tip.
So you found your perfect boot, you broke it in, but for some reason you're still feeling pressure points. It doesn't mean that your boot is a bad fit, you might just have to fix your laces. The first one is called box lacing or window lacing, and that's when you have some pressure points on the top of your boot. You will lace where the toes are to make sure you have support where your toes are, and then you leave the section open. You just lace it on the sides, and then you bring them back together around your ankle. Another version I really like is when you feel like your toes are getting really cramped, which is very common when you're out on the trail. The way you can alleviate that is you're gonna unlace your boot completely, and then you're going to just skip the first couple of laces where your toes are, and then lace like regular when you're up at all the way up your boot. Now, if you're wanting some extra support around your ankle, or maybe you're noticing that after you're climbing over some rocks and really moving your foot that it's starting to loosen up, you can try something called a surgeon's knot. And that is when you go to tie and you wrap the laces twice, you make it nice and tight, and then immediately go into those hooks. I only have one hook on my boot, but you would do the same thing and lace it all the way up the hooks. That makes it really tight and strong, and it won't loosen up when you go on your hike.
Arkansas's Great Outdoors is brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers, by Visit Hot Springs, America's first resort, by the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, by Vexus Boats, and by Certified Arkansas Baitfish, the safe bait. Hello everyone, welcome to Orlando, Florida. This is the ICAST Fishing Convention. It's one of the best business trips we take all year long. All of the fishing manufacturers bring their new products to showcase here for the first time, and now we get to show it to you as well.
So hey guys, it's Trent with Bubba here. I'm going to show you a couple of different options that we make as far as fillet knives. A lot of people have different opinions on what's a good fillet knife, what's a bad, electric, manual, fixed blade. We like to think we have something for everybody. So our super popular electric fillet knives, it comes with 4 different blades in it. It'll have 2 flex options, super flexible, kind of a thinner blade profile, perfect for like small, like crappie or small panfish like that. It also comes with stiffer blades if you happen to be cleaning something bigger, need to really get through those thicker rib bones. Also we have our iconic Bubba grip, lithium ion battery. So super handy kit. If you're not an electric fillet knife person, we have a lot of options as far as fixed blade knives, folding, non-folding, all of those. Of course, we'll have our iconic grip, anywhere from ultra flex to extra stiff. We got it all. We recently came out with these multi-flex kits, kind of the same idea, incorporating best of both worlds. You have the handle with interchangeable blades, kind of depending on what the angler wants in a fillet knife. We like to think we have it for them somewhere on this wall.
Hey, Eddie Phipps, AKA Easy E. This is my son, Easy T, and of course everybody knows Dell, Easy D, the Easy On Fishing Company. So we've got 3 new products. We're each gonna talk about one. The initial one that I'm gonna talk about is the Easy On Float. Now everybody asked for the teardrop design. So to have it keep the line from coming back around, you turn this little knob at the bottom, and so to keep the line from coming back. This is the slip version of it. We have 3 different versions. This is the float, so it works just like a regular bobber. This is the slip version. And of course, Thomas has the popper.
The popper is one of a kind and especially can be ready to catch redfish. All you gotta do is push the button, insert the line, and release it. And that's it. It pops.
It clacks. It pops.
clackles.
There you go.
Easy On Fly Strike Indicator. We've been here 4 years now, and you know, we got into a whole different industry here with the fly guide fishing. You know, they thought we forgot about them, but we didn't. We're here now.
There's a $1,000 challenge. A lot of the shows we'll go to, we will challenge attendees with the old bobber, and if they see if they can put the old one on quicker than I can put the new one on, our version, the Easy On bobber or float or whichever one it is, and if they can do it quicker, I'll give them $1,000 cash. I still have my $1,000 cash. They're either mad that they didn't think of it, or they're truly amazed by it. And every show we go to, we get encouraged to do something different. The first one we came to, we had one size. And then everybody came up and said, hey, can you do a smaller one, or can you do a bigger one? We did it. Then the next year, someone said, hey, can you do a slip bobber? And I was like, and we did it. Then someone came and said, can you do a small one for fly fishing? We did it. Can you do one for a popper, for clacking? Can you do a teardrop? So the molds are expensive. And so until we get it really out into the market and start pushing some of the ones that we've initially done, we have to slow up on the innovative side.
I have never really seen a person like start a business from small and go to big immediately. It's absolutely amazing what this business has done. We've been into Walmart, we bought a warehouse. It has been an amazing ride.
When Arkansas's Great Outdoors returns, we head back to the dinner table and taste the results of Leigh's cast iron creation. Arkansas's Great Outdoors is brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers, by Visit Hot Springs, America's first resort, by the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, by Vexus Boats, and by Certified Arkansas Baitfish, the safe bait.
The fiberglass manufacturing process at Vexus is incredibly different from anything else I've seen in this industry, and that starts with our infused composite construction process.
Infused composite construction is all built under vacuum.
So it gives you consistency. It gives you a much stronger part because your glass to resin ratio is much higher. And it gives you a lighter part. And all that in turn equates to a stronger, better performing part.
The hulls are different in every way. It's lighter, it's stronger, it's going to give the consumer a more consistent product.
The construction, how you guys vacuum it together, it's solid, it's lighter, it's just a beautiful boat.
This thing was completely stable, unreal.
There's two enemies I feel when you build a boat, and that's air and resin. Using infused composite construction, we're pulling the air out of that product.
We're putting exactly the amount of resin into the boat that we want, so we end up with a 60% glass, 40% resin mix.
When you can improve a product make it easier to build and have an end user experience that's better. That's real innovation.
You'll never find a better ride, hands down.
You don't feel that fatigue. You don't feel that driving force of the water coming up through the boat into the person.
At the end of the day, it's probably going to give you a couple more casts because of that fatigue is not setting in the same way when you're out there fighting waves.
Looking to get into something that's going to handle the big water a little bit better, the VX21 is definitely the boat.
We're looking at another boat brand and a Vexus. Yeah, it's an easy decision.
When you buy a Vexus boat, you're buying something you cannot buy anywhere else.
People are going to stand back in awe and say, why didn't we think of that? But we did.
Made right here in Arkansas, Vexus boats are revolutionary. They're built by people who've been building fishing boats for decades. Now let's check on the salmon and sweet potatoes at Woolly Hollow State Park. Something fun about Dutch oven cooking, these Dutch ovens have little feet on the bottom. This is so that you can place it on the ground and put the coals underneath. It seems really obvious, but I didn't know. And then you can look at the lid. It has a lipped lid so that you can place the coals on top. That's how you can absolutely be sure you're getting a camping Dutch oven and not a home Dutch oven, because it won't have the legs or the lip around the top. So we're at the halfway point. It's been 15 minutes. We're going to check on the sweet potatoes and we're going to add pears. The original recipe calls for fresh pears, but in order to not mess with cutting pears around all of these insects, I just brought some pre-diced canned pears. They still taste great. I lived in Argentina for a little bit in high school, and they made empanadas in an earthen oven outside. They were incredible. I have not been able to recreate that anywhere here, but this is the closest thing I've seen. Something cooked in iron outside is just incredible. The salmon steaks have been marinating in a soy sauce-based marinade, the soy sauce, brown sugar, water, and oil. We'll post that on our social media, the full recipe. That sizzle is what you want to hear. Does that not look like classic camping? You feel like you're in the Old West with the cowboys of old. Okay, it's been 30 minutes total. The sweet potatoes should be ready. Listen to that sizzle. Oh yeah, those are very done. Perfect. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, when it's cold outside, these are especially delicious, and you have to be kind of quick from here to the table before they get cooled off. In this weather, we don't have to worry about that. Here we have it, salmon and sweet potatoes. I'm gonna taste it. It's incredible. The kick of the cayenne mixed with the sweetness of the pears. I think you're gonna love it. I'll put this recipe on our social media and I hope you enjoy.
The food was delicious. The scenery at Woolly Hollow State Park was amazing, and the company was truly delightful.
Carlton, it was fun eating and cooking outside with you.
It always is, and we've had a great time with that meal at state parks all across the state. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed sitting lakeside and eating salmon and sweet potatoes and pears.
I'll post the recipe on our social media accounts, both Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Arkansas's Great Outdoors.
Thanks for watching. We showed you the history of Woolly Hollow State Park and took you all the way to Orlando, Florida to see some of the newest products from our nation's top manufacturers. We'll show you more in a future episode. We thank our sponsors for making this program possible, and most of all, we thank you for watching.
We'll see you next week on Arkansas's Great Outdoors.